Okay, good morning, good morning, good morning. Victoria School of Etiquette. We are live this morning. Man, I had some issues getting on this morning, but it's my location. Sometimes we just don't get a good signal when I'm broadcasting from this location. But anyway, good morning, everyone. It's still morning, and it is Monday, so happy Monday. Happy start to your week on this morning. So just come on in, tag a friend, tag an enemy, frenemy, tag a foe. Tag someone and come on in. Please like and share across your various social media platforms, and come on in as it is Monday. So that means that it is time to discuss Mind Your Manners Monday. Open discussion on this morning on this topic. And so come on in, like I said, tag a friend. I am Lady Victoria with Victoria School of Etiquette. I am your local, soon-to-be national etiquette educator, broadcasting to you live from the great windy city of Chicago. It's Chi-Town, we like to call it. We are the best in the Midwest, and we are so happy to have you be a part of our platform on this morning. Victoria School of Etiquette is currently an online etiquette school where we offer you a solution to all of your various etiquette dilemmas. So come on in and chat with us this morning as we begin to talk about personal space. Personal space on this Monday morning. Where are your manners when it comes to personal space? So this kind of came to my attention over the weekend due to a dilemma that someone found themselves in, where a complete stranger was encroaching upon their personal space. So let's find out, let's try to define, how is your personal space determined? Who determines that the space you're in belongs to you and you alone? Why is it not shared with the person that's sitting across the room, the person that's standing at the window, the person that might be standing right next to you or seated next to you? Is your personal space defined any differently than theirs? And why? Well, did you know that personal space is recognized by the law? Personal space is recognized by our law-abiding entities that are there to represent you in various situations that you might find yourself in where you feel that your personal space has been violated. Now, I'm going to read something here for you. Personal space is an approximate area surrounding an individual in which other people should not physically violate in order for them to feel comfortable and secure. Your own personal space is described as the zone around individuals which they regard as psychologically theirs. Your personal space is defined. Good morning. Thank you for joining. Your personal space is defined as the zone around you that you consider psychologically yours. So there is no numeric number given to what the personal space is around you, how much of it is allocated to you and you alone, and how much belongs to someone else. But it is recognized as a violation if someone gets too close to you in your personal space, where you feel harmed, where you feel unsafe, or where you feel you might even be subjected to danger. So you can claim that someone invaded your personal space by being too close to you, by perhaps performing an act against you that violated you and your personal space. Your personal space also includes those that might be with you, your children, your significant other, your friends, just whether it might be 5 or 6 or 2 or 3 or just one. Your personal space is yours, and you can defend your personal space if you are violated in that space. And so what we mean by that is, of course, if someone commits a crime against you, if someone says something, if someone says something unkind to you, someone is excessively belligerent towards you in your personal space, and it makes you feel violated. If you are hurt or harmed, or a criminal act is performed against you in your personal space, of course you can report that to the police, report that to the authorities, and depending upon the case and the act that was committed, you can even take that case to your attorneys and build a legal case against the person that violated you in your personal space. So when we're talking about manners, how do you decide not to encroach upon someone's space, or you don't want them encroaching upon yours? How do you decide? Because they could say, well, you know what, I'm in the same space that you are in, the same area of space that you are in, and I have just as much a right to be here as you do. While that might be true, if you make me feel uncomfortable, I can kindly ask you to please step back, step away. Would you mind stepping back just a little bit? You know, it makes me feel uncomfortable. You don't have to say that it makes you feel uncomfortable, but you can ask a person to step away, or you yourself. You can step forward a little bit, step to the side a little bit, or step backwards, whichever movement is comfortable for you, and whichever makes you feel that you are still in a safe zone. You can do that for yourself. If it's a very crowded space, you're on the train, or you're in a crowded room, and you feel like you're beginning to rub shoulders with your neighbors that you don't even really know, good morning, thank you for joining, then you can kindly say, you can kindly indicate that you're uncomfortable. So, you begin to kind of wiggle and get a little bit more wiggle room. Most people are kind enough to get the message silently, and so they will attempt to step back. They will attempt to step away for a little bit, or, they will kindly say, oh, excuse me, or you begin to say, excuse me. And so they realize that they are moving in an area where it makes you feel uncomfortable. And perhaps they do too. But one of you has given the indication, one of you has given the notation or spoken up and said, excuse me. So then the other person knows to back away a little bit. So you can make that claim, and you can make that statement without being overbearing or without embarrassing yourself or someone else. Just be kind about it. Use kind words. So what do you do, Lady Victoria, when other people don't receive that and they feel, hey, I'm standing right here. I was here before you got here. This is my space. This is my zone, and I'm holding on to it. Then kindly inch away if you can. If you can't, then you may have to bear it for a short time until some more space is made available where you are. Again, if you are on a crowded train car, if you are in an elevator and the elevator is near about packed to capacity, and people are there with their packages and their bags and their personal belongings, and perhaps there isn't enough room to make everyone feel comfortable, but you can bear it for a short season, because the elevator was going to the next floor, and some people are going to exit the elevator, and then there will be more room and you can feel more comfortable. So your personal space is subjective, because again, another person is in that space as well, and they may feel that they have just as much a right to be there, and they do. But you can't say, hey, I'm here and I need the 6 inches around me, left, right, and above. I need that space, and that's my space. You can only do that if the space is available. But when it is not, again, you grin and bear your way through it pleasantly. What about when you are in a personal space and it is so uncomfortable because of perhaps the odors around you? Again, if you can't exit the space, you may have to hold your breath for a little bit, as long as you can without passing out. You may have to wait until the person or the thing is removed from your personal space. Or sometimes you may exit yourself so that you're no longer personally offended by being in that space. Again, personal space is subjective. So when you find that it gets to be too uncomfortable for yourself, simply remove yourself. What if your personal space is encroached upon Oftentimes it is by a complete stranger, someone that you doesn't know. What if the personal space that that person is moving into doesn't belong to you, but belongs to a loved one that is with you? And that was the situation this weekend where a mom was and a perfect stranger walked up to her child on how cute and how adorable it was, and proceeded to touch the child's face. Total putting their hands on your child, not just on their hand or on their arm, but touching their face with her hands. But gave the person and with life, could you please, could you not? Thank you. And stepped away. But today, the people are so not for personal matters and personal space. They feel that they have the right to exercise their emotions, which is what this lady was doing by Googling and Gaga all over the baby. That is adorable. Thank you very much. But I don't need your germs, and neither does my child. I don't know you. I don't know where you've been. I don't know where your hands have been, but they are noticeably unclean. So why are you touching my child's face? Could you please not? I would have removed myself and my children from that situation and that circumstance. But as an individual, and especially as parents, you can speak up. People might not receive what you have to say, but in that situation, you certainly can speak up, and you certainly can and should remove yourself and your child from that situation or from that circumstance. We don't know what people have, and so many things are transferable. So many germs, so many different types of germs are transferable just by touch. So many viruses sometimes are received just by touch. Viruses are received when people cough and don't cover their mouths, when they sneeze and don't cover their sneeze. Sometimes people sneeze into their hand and then they're shaking hands with the next individual that they're rubbing shoulders with, passing on whatever germs and bacteria and infections that they might have. You, whether I know you or not, especially if I know you, I love you, but I don't want your germs. I don't want your germs. The more intimate relationship you have with the person, your husband, your wife, your significant other, your children, family members, then the smaller that personal space becomes. But even with individuals that everyone wants their space to be respected. If you are in a place and you can feel a complete stranger breathing, you can literally feel their breath on your back, then they're probably a little bit too close. So separate yourself if you can. If you can't, then you have to figure out what's the best solution for you in that moment. You never want to do or say anything that's going to exacerbate the situation or make that situation worse. You don't want to do or say anything or present it in such a manner as to be argumentative. Being defensive is questionable and is viewed through everyone's own scope, being defensive about your space. But you don't want to do anything that's going to cause that situation to escalate. They may say, hey, look, it's crowded in here and we're all packed in here like sardines. So do you mind just cooling off? They may have something to say about that. You have to use your own wit and wisdom in a situation like that. But again, when your personal space, good morning, Rashonda. Hi, Tamika. Hi, Sophia. Demetria Brand Triplet, thank you for being here. When your own personal space is compromised, you have a right to speak up. You have a right to feel comfortable. You have a right to feel safe. And you have a right to feel like that your personal space is not violated and that you personally aren't in danger. How many times have we been in a situation, in a room, in an elevator or whatever, and sometimes, you know, that inner alarm goes off and you just feel like I'm not comfortable and maybe I'm not safe. So get off at the next floor, get off at the next exit if you can, get off at the next stop. If you're on a train or a situation like that where you feel like you need to remove yourself, then please do, because your safety is more important than being in a space where you're all crumpled up against people and you really don't feel safe. Sometimes we don't feel comfortable, but we're safe. But when you don't feel comfortable and you don't feel safe, exit. Get out as soon as you can. Remove yourself as soon as you can, because you don't know who's there. You don't know what is about to transpire. But when those signals go up, good morning, greetings, Demetria. When those signals go up, when the hairs begin to raise on the back of your neck, then you know that something just isn't right. So you remove yourself. You get that inner knowing in your belly sometimes where you feel like, I don't know what's really going on here. I've been accustomed to, or afforded, I guess, the opportunity, I might say, not generally accustomed to, but lately I have had several opportunities to take public transportation. And I can just say for myself, I live in the Chi. I love Chicago. Good morning, sir. I love Chicago. I love everything that we have to offer. But sometimes on public transportation, when I get off the bus and or the train, I feel like the first thing I need to do when I get home is to take a bath, take a shower. I feel like I need to wash off some of everything that might have been going on. Oh my gosh. On the train, there are different odors that you smell. You have the homeless people who ride the train all night long. And I know they're riding because they don't have a safe place to go to. But there are so many times when I'm on the train and I feel like, oh my gosh, I need to just get out of here. And the first thing I need to do when I get home is strip and get in the shower, because I feel like I've picked up so much of some of everything, germs and bacteria and all kinds of odors and ew. But hope I'm not going too far, but I'm just saying this is the real deal. And a lot of you may have these situations in the cities and towns and where you live as well. So thank God for public transportation that I can take it. But oftentimes I feel like my personal space is compromised when I'm riding in a public situation. So I'm just here to tell you on this morning to mind your manners when you feel that your personal space is encroached upon, when you feel encumbered, over encumbered by those that are around you in your personal space. Mind your manners and be mannerable to those that may be close in on you. They may not have a choice because of the situation, but you can still mind your manners. You can still be kind. You can speak up and say politely to ask someone to please move back. Or you know how we do. You give people the look that lets them know you're a little bit too close. I need you to excuse me. So this is Lady Victoria this morning with Monday, Mind Your Manners Monday. Thank you so much for being a part of our platform on this morning. I'm asking you to please like and share across your various social media platforms. Those of you that are watching live, thank you. Those of you that will catch the replay, thank you as well. And for those of you that have subscribed to my YouTube channel, thank you very much. For those of you that have not, please go over and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also catch this probably later on today over there. And for my YouTube subscribers, when you're over there, hit the button and share it, please, as well. Lady Victoria, sharing Mind Your Manners Monday, signing off until next time. We'll chat again soon. And until then, be in your best etiquette health. Talk to everyone later. Bye for now.